Today we're going to take a look at the top 25 most expensive cards from the Sun and Moon era. We're looking at main sets, we're looking at premium / holiday sets, but we're not looking at promos, as we'll probably do a separate list for that. A lot of them are actually pretty expensive, or at least there are some pretty expensive ones, and a lot of them could make this list as there's a lot of value there. But for today, we're not looking at those. We're only looking at pulls from the main and holiday sets. I'm really excited to look at the data just to see how it compares to not only the Sword and Shield era, but also the Sun and Moon era, Scarlet and Violet era. We are looking at the Sun and Moon era, just to kind of see how everything compares and what the data shows, and just to kind of get a better look at why things are popular, or which things are popular and desired, right? So without further ado, let's take a look at the list. All right, starting off with number 25, we have Blastoise and Piplup GX alternate full art card coming from Cosmic Eclipse. Great artwork, features two starters. One is Blastoise, which is obviously the third evolution from Gen 1, and we also have Piplup, which is from Gen 4, and yeah, it's the first evolution. Great artwork. I was just thinking about what makes the difference between an alternate full art card and then just a regular ultra rare basic tag team GX card, and I guess it would just have to do with where the card is placed in the set list, right? So the regular Blastoise and Piplup GX full art, or not full art, but GX tag team card would probably be before number 215 in the set, right? So this being 215 probably makes it the alternate full art card of the two. But let's go ahead and take a look at some values. So we have July 3rd, $126.24. From there, does ultimately go up to its high September 18th, $136.76, but does drop down at one point pretty dramatically, but continues to decrease all the way to April 29th, where it hits its low of $104.46, and its current value, which it looks like it might stagnate at around, is $119.95. Then the number 24th most expensive card is the Gengar and Mimikyu GX Secret Rare, or the Team Up. It comes from Team Up, not over the Team Up card, but it comes from the Sun and Moon set of Team Up. And yeah, it's the Gengar and Mimikyu Rainbow Rare card. Obviously, for the Sun and Moon era, there were a lot of Rainbow Rares and not a lot of alternate full art cards. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Rainbow Rare cards, which is really cool, because I think they have a very unique place within the TCG and collecting them. But let's look at some values. So we have July 3rd, $91.57, which also happens to be its low. From there, it ultimately trends upwards, even going as high as $113.15, January 29th. Dips down a little bit, but come May 20th, 109.33 spikes up to $120.33. And it looks like it's currently going to stagnate at its price of $120.72. And the 23rd most valuable card is Erika's Hospitality Full Art coming from Team Up. So one thing you'll notice about this list is there's actually a lot of just regular full art trainer cards. I guess this was peak waifu era / peak. There's not a lot of cards out on the market, and they're harder to pull, supply is harder to come by, etc, right? So yeah, I guess that's why there's a lot of full art trainer cards on this list, but I guess you could be the judge of exactly why they're on here. But we have Erika's Hospitality coming in from Team Up. Let's look at some prices. We have July 3rd, $130.98. From there, it goes up, hitting its peak probably around here, September 18th, $138.52. Then it slowly trends downward, but gets a little more aggressive and drops down to 123.29 on March 11th. Hitting its low May 20th, $119.05. Comes up a little bit, but looks like it's going to stagnate around $122.36. And the 22nd most valuable card coming from Sun and Moon era is the Solgaleo and Lunala GX full art card. This is coming from Cosmic Eclipse. And again, I don't know if it's just an error on TCG players' part, but it doesn't say alternate full art card, just as full art. But obviously we know what full art cards look like from the Sun and Moon era. So, but I guess because it's a tag team, right, it is a little different. So I guess there's that, but yeah, I don't know. Just very interesting that it doesn't say alternate full art card, but I believe there is actually an alternate full art card somewhere for this card. Or maybe not. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, because I actually don't think it's on this list. So anyways, let us go. Let's see what the prices are. We have July 3rd, $172.02. And then on August 14th, hits its peak, $188.50. Stays at around that price range for a little bit, but come, say, around September 25th, begins to drop and then drops down more aggressively, goes all the way down to its low here, May 13th, $119.06, and its current value is $124.49, and it looks like it might stagnate at around that price. The 21st most valuable card coming from the Sun and Moon era comes from Cosmic Eclipse, and it's the Cynthia and Caitlyn Full Art Tag Team card. So what I find really cool about the Sun and Moon era is that they had the tag team kind of gimmick slash shtick slash I don't know, ability, don't quite know the right word to use, for trainer cards. So as we can see here, we have a Cynthia and Caitlyn Full Art Tag Team Trainer card, which is really cool. And I was just thinking, I wish we had something like this in the Scarlet and Violet era, but we kind of do. I guess the SIR introduction for trainer cards is kind of taken up that route of having kind of just like a different artwork, different style, different card typing for those full art trainer cards, which I think is really cool that they went back to that. But let's look at some values. We have July 3rd, $148.54. Shortly thereafter, we'll say August 14th, hits its high $159.38, but does have a pretty dramatic decrease down. November 13th, $132.61. Starts to stagnate off a little bit, but continues to trend downwards, hitting its low May 6th, $121.01. Its current value is $124.87, where it looks like it might stagnate around. And the 20th most valuable card coming from the Sun and Moon era comes from Team Up, and it's Eevee and Snorlax GX, or Secret Rare card. So yeah, there's actually a whole bunch of these Eevee and Snorlax cards. There's a promo with some funky illustrations coming from a Team Up tin. I actually have it on my shelf over there. Then I believe there's a full art version. I don't know if there's just a regular standard tag team version where it doesn't have this funky kind of artwork, where it's not a full art, it's not rainbow, etc. I want to say there is, but I didn't really do the research up on if so. But yes, there might be around 4 or so iterations of this card. Anywho, let's take a look at some values. We have July 3rd, which happens to be its low, which when that happens is a very good thing for this card. $113.28, shoots up pretty dramatically. September 25th, $147.85 is its high. Does start to go downwards, has a pretty crazy decrease there. November 13th, 134.27, stagnates, drops off a little bit, and its current value is $125.64, where it looks like it'll continue to trend downward for a little bit. And the 19th most expensive card to come from the Sun and Moon era is the Reshiram and Charizard GX Secret Rare or Rainbow Rare card, coming in from Unbroken Bonds. Yes, Charizard has already made an appearance. Popular Pokemon as per usual. Reshiram finally getting some limelight, some time in the spotlight, so that is pretty cool. Let's take a look at some values. We have July 3rd, $141.96. Shortly thereafter, I'd say probably here, October 16th, $144.05 is its high, but it does have a pretty dramatic crash downwards, going as low January 15th, $125.99. Kind of stagnates around that area, but it does dip down to $124.44 on May 13th, which is its low. And it looks like the May 27th to June 2nd is the most recent data we have for sales, $126.28, which looks like it might stagnate around or even potentially start to increase back up. And the 18th most expensive card is the Cynthia Full Art card coming from Ultra Prism. This is just a regular Full Art card, which is really cool. I mean, you'll see that on this list a lot, especially in the top couple cards. There is a lot of just regular Full Art trainer cards. All of them are women. Yeah, I mean, it is a very common occurrence with the most valuable cards in the Sun and Moon era. Again, I think this was just like peak waifu craze. Supply is not heavy. Demand is heavy, so yeah, I mean, it's just, capitalism at its finest, right? So yeah, we have Cynthia Full Art coming from Ultra Prism. Let's look at some values. July 3rd, 1 year ago, $146.22. Its high is July 24th, $149.23. From there, trends downward a little bit, nothing too crazy, but come October 30th, $137.62, does drop down pretty dramatically, hitting its low, I would say here, February 5th, $117.73. But from there, it does try to make a come up a little bit, where its current value, which it might be stagnating at around, is $126.76. And the 17th most expensive card to come from the Sun and Moon era is the Mega Sableye and Tyranitar GX Alternate Full Art card coming from Unified Minds. It is very fantastic artwork. The colors are on point. The lighting, the artificial lighting is fantastic. The Pokemon in question are great choices too. Just some great artwork all around. Let's take a look at some values. We have July 3rd, $175.92. Its highest shortly thereafter, July 24th, $176.86. Trends down slowly, but come November 6th, 160.01 drops down pretty dramatically and goes as far as its low April 22nd, $118.69. From here, it tries to make a come up, but it looks like it's going to stagnate at around the $132.59 mark. And the 16th most expensive card to come from the Sun and Moon era is the Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX alternate full art card. This is coming from Unified Minds. Great artwork. You have Raichu and Alolan Raichu in a quite comical and I guess almost like adorable kind of setting here on the beach. You have your pail, and then I can't quite tell if that's a shovel. At least that's a shovel. In the corner here, you have a sunny, warm atmosphere, the beach, the clouds. Great artwork overall using complementary colors. Let's take a look at the values. We have July 3rd, $154.47. From there, it goes up, hitting its peak September 11th, $189.02, but does have a pretty dramatic come down as well, going as low as January 1st, $116.35. From there, it kind of stagnates around that price, goes up May 6th, all the way to the 130s, and it looks like its current value, which might be slowly trending upwards, is $134.02. The 15th most expensive card is Lily's Full Force Full Art Trainer card. That's a mouthful and a bit of a tongue twister, coming from Cosmic Eclipse. Yeah, like I said, there's going to be a lot of full art trainer cards. Not even tag team. I don't even know if there's that many tag team cards left. There might be maybe a few, but for the most part, they're just the singular full art cards. So yeah, we have Lily's Full Force. Let's look at some values. We have July 3rd, $140.61. Then almost like a pyramid, it trends upwards, hitting its high January 8th, $182.15. But in a rather dramatic take, it does crash down let's see here, April 29th, $150.20. Looks like it's stagnating a bit and then continues to drop off, where it looks like it's continuing to decrease, $137.75. And the 14th most expensive card to come from the Sun and Moon era is the Mewtwo and Mew GX Secret Rare or Rainbow Rare card, coming from Unified Minds. Yeah, you have another Rainbow Rare Tag Team GX card. Again, great cards. Definitely what kind of defines the era of Sun and Moon, in my opinion, is these Rainbow Rare Tag Team cards. But also, I guess the alternate art ones are pretty cool too. But I don't know, when I think of alternate art, I think more so of the Sword and Shield era. And when I think of when I think of the Sun and Moon era, I think of like Tag Team Rainbow cards personally. But let's look at some values. We have 1 year ago, $177.58. From there, climbs up September 25th, hitting its peak, $192.89, almost at that $200 mark, but has a pretty dramatic come down, hitting its low February 26th, $143.79, kind of stagnates around that $145 mark, and it looks like its current value is $147.76. Then number 13, I had to think about that for a second. This is the 13th card on this list. 13 most expensive card from the Sun and Moon era is the Mewtwo GX Secret Shining. Very interesting title there. From Shining Legends, it's a shiny holo rare, it says. So I will admit one thing. When I made this list, I compiled it just by typing SM into TCG Player, and then I had the whole list. I was almost done the video, and then I completely forgot that Shining Legends and Hidden Fates, I guess Detective Pikachu and Dragon Majesty as well, were not added onto this list. And yeah, I was pretty distraught about that because I had to redo the whole thing. But we added what was left, what was remaining into this list, and yeah, we're redoing it. But this is one of the ones that I completely missed. It's the Mewtwo GX in the test tube, or I guess maybe not test tube, but the cryo tube. I don't even know what you would call what it's in, but really great artwork. Comes from Shining Legends. Let's take a look at some values here. We have July 3rd, $116.54. Goes up a bit to August 21st, $131.49, but does drop down to its low November 6th, $104.15. But from there has a pretty crazy climb up, hitting its peak here April 29th, $169.07, but has since fallen down a little bit, and it looks like it's at its current value where it's stagnating at around $151.55. And the 12th most expensive card from the Sun and Moon era is the Lugia GX Secret Rare or Rainbow Rare card, coming from Lost Thunder. So I believe this is the first solo rainbow rare non-tag team GX card we've seen on this list, and it's pretty high up too, which is cool. Lugia is a legendary Pokemon, very beloved, very coveted, highly desired. Let's go ahead and see some values. We have 1 year ago, $167.04, climbs up to its peak August 28th, $182.56, but does trend downwards from there, hitting its low, we'll say January 29th, to I guess even as far as March 3rd, $142.86. From there, tries to climb up a little bit, but it does look like it could be on the come up. Its current value is $154.96. And the 11th most expensive card from the Sun and Moon era is the Arceus. I say Arceus. I know it's either Arceus or Arceus. Most people say Arceus, but I've always said Arceus, so I don't know. Kind of just want to stick with that. And Dialga and Palkia GX alternate full art card coming from Cosmic Eclipse. Yeah, it's a really nice artwork, really nice card. It's almost like a statue in a Colosseum, which is cool. You're just missing Giratina, but I do understand Giratina is kind of the antagonist, so probably wouldn't be up on the statue. Let's take a look at some values. We have 1 year ago, $214.04. Its high, September 4th, $224.38. From there, trends downward pretty dramatically, going as low as February 5th, $168.26, but kind of tries to stagnate, but goes even lower, hitting its yearly low June 3rd, so relatively recently, $161.33, and its current value is $161.83. We're finally in the top 10 cards for the Sun and Moon era, and the number 10 spot, we have Misty's Favor full art card coming in from Unified Minds. Misty is obviously the iconic second gym leader, water gym leader for the first generation of Pokemon. Travels with Ash and Brock for quite a bit. I believe the first 2 seasons, if I'm correct, or at least the first 2 regions of Pokemon, Kanto and Johto. So pretty cool, but yeah, let's take a look at some values. We have $181.80 1 year ago. From there, it goes up a little bit, but not much, $184.08. Drops down to its low, December 11th, $162.36, but rather has a dramatic climb up, and it even reaches its peak, which it's currently at now, $190.40. It looks like it's still on the come up, and it even could give number the 2 in front of it, I believe that's 9 and 8, could give them a run for their money. Then number 9 on this list is the Rosa Full Art, the Full Art Trainer card coming in from Cosmic Eclipse. Again, great artwork, probably a waifu card if I had to guess, but yeah, Cosmic Eclipse was the last Sun and Moon set to be released, and yeah, it was a very popular set. Still is. I think it's one of the more valuable ones. At the very least, it is still increasing in value. It is one of the more valuable ones for sure, but because it was the last to come out, and supply is still a little more than other sets, I think it's still in its infancy, or not necessarily infancy, but it's still gaining value. But let's take a look at some values here for this card. We have July 3rd, $212.67. From there, it goes up and hits its peak October 9th, $230.46, but does a pretty dramatic decrease, going as far down as $195.84 on December 11th. Tries to go up a little bit, almost past that $200 mark, but doesn't make it. May 6th, $193.04 is its low, and its current value, which it might be stagnating around, is just under $200. It is $197.37. Then for number 8, we have Gardevoir and Sylveon GX alternate full art card coming in from Unbroken Bonds. Great artwork. We have an Evolution with Gardevoir, which are 2 fan favorite, kind of highly coveted, desired Pokemon to be collected, so that's pretty cool. The artwork is really nice. It is very warm and bright and sunny. Good vibes all around, I will say. But yeah, we have a value 1 year ago, July 3rd, $221.07. Goes up shortly thereafter, August 28th. Let's see if there is no difference between August 14th and 28th. $239.20, but from there drops down a little bit, goes back up, ultimately trends downwards, hitting its low. Let's see, March 4th, 174.98, and what's this here? Yes, April 8th is its low, 174.73, a little bit of a difference in the sense there, but afterwards it does trend upwards, hitting its current value of $199.67, and it looks like it's going to stagnate there as well. And the 7th most valuable card coming from the Sun and Moon era is the Magikarp and Wailord GX alternate full art card coming in from Sun and Moon Team Up. So yeah, Team Up, crazy set. Probably the Evolving Skies of the Sun and Moon era, I would say. And yeah, I mean, just recently, I mean, maybe last year, could have been 2022. I'm not exactly sure when, but this set had a crazy explosion in value. Yeah, I guess just the artworks, the alternate artworks with the team up or the tag team kind of style of them, as well as a lack of supply on the market with a high demand for it, just created this amazing mixture of valuable sealed and singles. So that was pretty cool. But let's take a look at some values here. We have July 3rd, 1 year ago, $282.19. Gets close to $300. August 14th, it's high $292.40. But from there, travels downwards September 18th, $274, and then continues to trend downwards to its low April 8th, $246.57. And it looks like it's stagnating at around the $254 mark, with just an extra extra 40 cents added on to the end there. And yeah, we'll see what happens with this card. And the 6th most valuable card comes from Celestial Storm, and it's the Licia Full Art Trainer card. So yes, Full Art Trainer cards in the top 10 and even in the top 6. And oh boy, just wait for the top 5. We have Licia Full Art, Celestial Storm. Again, great artwork, likely a waifu card, but also just because Celestial Storm, older set, harder supply, higher demand, just kind of how it is, I guess, right? So let's take a look at some values 1 year ago, $290.06. August 14th, $292.75, so kind of mirroring that Magikarp a little bit. That's its high, again, getting pretty close to 300, but not quite there. But does have a pretty strong decrease, October 30th, $249.07. Does make its way up though, and its current value is $278.85. And it looks like it's continuing to trend upwards, so we'll see. Maybe it will surpass the top or get into the top 5, but only time will tell. So now we're in the top 5 cards for the Sun and Moon era, top 5 most expensive cards. And I don't know, that Licia might have a little bit of work ahead of it if it wants to break the top 5, because this Gengar and Mimikyu GX alternate full art card from Team Up is definitely not letting up, and it too is also on its way up. But overall, great artwork. It has a crazy vignette. It's dark, it's mysterious, which is perfect for both of these Pokemon. Let's take a look at some values. Its high was 1 year ago, which is unfortunate. It's always unfortunate when you see that, $344.22. Trends downward lightly. We have here October 16th, $329.73, but drops down rather dramatically and hits its low on March 18th, $258.83. From there, it does travel upwards though, and its current value, which looks like it is increasing, $301.91. And the 4th most valuable card from Sun and Moon is the Lily Full Art card from Ultra Prism. Yeah, I think this is it for full art trainer cards. Spoiler alert, but it's the most expensive full art trainer card coming from the Sun and Moon era. If we do a list on this in the future, the most expensive cards, which I'd like to, are the most expensive trainer cards, this is going to make the top of the list. I don't think that Licia will probably pass this card, but let's take a look at some values. We have 1 year ago, $431.67. What a value. Definitely the highest that we've seen before. And yeah, I mean, that's $431. That is crazy. And now get this, right? It's high, September 25th, $521. That's half a grand for this card. That's crazy. And it's just a ultra rare. It's a full art trainer card. Again, I guess the Sun and Moon era was a little different in the sense that, that there weren't really necessarily as many alternate art cards and rainbow rare cards were all the rage, but again, you just get more colors and dynamics in these like full art trainer cards than you would in their rainbow editions or etc. Right? I actually don't even know. They might have. There's none on this list, but they don't have any rainbow cards for the trainer cards, which I find very interesting. I actually don't recall if Sun and Moon does have those. I'll have to take a look. Maybe they do, but anyways, we have $521 as its high. Pretty crazy, but it does drop down rather dramatically, hitting its low May 20th, $380.55. and its current value, which it looks like it's stagnating around, is $385.02. And now we enter into the top 3 most expensive cards from the Sun and Moon era. We have the Charizard GX Secret Rare or Rainbow Rare coming in from Burning Shadows. You knew this card was coming up eventually. It is the one-hit wonder from Burning Shadows, and the most expensive card, I would say, from the earlier half of the Sun and Moon era, I believe. I mean, it looks like it, knowing what the top 3 are. But yeah, let's take a look at some values here. Yeah, I mean, it's just the Charizard GX card, but it is in Rainbow Rare Edition. And yeah, the hunt for this card was crazy. I mean, I wasn't part of the hobby yet when the hunt for this card was probably at its peak, but yeah, I imagine though it was insane. I've seen videos of people chasing this card. Crazy values. July 3rd, $415.76, goes up to its high August 21st, 442.34. Actually, that might not even be its high, but it goes up to a high point of $442. Drops down though, hitting its low October 9th, $331.15. From there, has a rocky road, but ultimately travels upwards, $446.38, which I actually do believe is its high, yeah, on May 20th, and swoops down, but looks like it might be trending back upwards at its current value of $420.28. And the second most valuable card coming from the Sun and Moon era is the Charizard GX Shiny Holo Rare. This comes from Hidden Fates, the Shiny Vault. And this is the other card that I missed. I was actually on the second card, or the second last card for this list, and then I was like, wait, where is the Shiny Charizard GX? And that's when I kind of did a couple of these and realized I forgot the holiday / premium sets for this era. So added those in, and yes, our boy Shiny Charizard GX from Hidden Fates is number 2. Let's take a look at some values. Great artwork. Actually, if you take a look, I always love doing this. It's the same style of artwork, just obviously different color patterns. So let's take a look. We have July 3rd, $389.41. That's 1 year ago. It looks like its low is here July 31st. Shortly thereafter, $377.07. Goes up a little bit, $400, but ultimately trends downwards. January 1st, $376. But from there has a slow increase upwards, but come May 13th, 404.71. Shoots up, and its current value is $446.35. Looks like it might be slowly increasing, but it could also start to stagnate as well. And the number 1 most valuable card coming from the Sun and Moon era, you probably guessed it, but if you didn't, here it is. It is the Latias and Latios GX alternate full art card coming in from Sun and Moon Team Up. This is the Moonbryon of Team Up, pretty much, and I think it will remain the Moonbryon, because look at that. The difference, right? It's well over $300 more expensive than the previous card, right? So that is nuts for sure. And yeah, it is fantastic artwork. You have Latias and Latios making kind of a heart shape there with the sunlight in the middle. Looks like it is sunset. Just great artwork. You really can't beat it. Yeah, it is just really nice. I don't have much else to say about it, and it is quite deserving of its number 1 position. So let's look at some values. Its low, which was 1 year ago, which is still like $200 more expensive than the previous card, is $664.30. From there, it has a crazy shoot up August 14th. I guess this was probably its peak, like when everybody really wanted to collect this card. 2023 summertime, $830.74 on August 14th. Drops down a little bit, goes back below the $800 mark, but still above $750. Goes down a little bit, $722.17 March 11th, but does have an increase, goes back over the $800 mark, and its current value, where it looks like it might stagnate, is $807.74. And with that, thus concludes the list of the 25 most valuable cards coming from the Sun and Moon era. A lot of these I knew about, a lot of them I was familiar with and knew of their values, but a lot of them are not new to me, but I just didn't know they would be in the top 25. And it was really cool to see the variety, right? You have your Rainbow Rares, you have your Tag Team regulars, you have your alternate arts, you have your regular Rainbow Rare tag teams. I don't know, it's just everything, right? You full art trainers. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, full art trainers in the top 25 is nuts. You don't really see that for the Sword and Shield era. And yeah, just to compare it to the Sword and Shield era, right? It's cool. I mean, I think the top 5 cards for the Sword and Shield era pretty much mirror the top 5 for the Sun and Moon. If anything, the values are a little more for the Sword and Shield era, which is cool, right? Even though Sword and Shield is more modern and newer, and yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. Like that Moonbryon is a little more expensive than the Latios and Latios, I think. And actually it might be around the same. But yeah, I think the top like 5, that Charizard, the Charizards, the Lily, and then the Gengar and Mimikyu, probably mirrors like the Mew and then the Blaziken. I'm trying to think of what other top 5 cards from the Sword and Shield era are. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's really cool to see. And yeah, I mean, would I recommend picking any of these up? If you want, if you want for your collection. I don't know. I don't know what exactly would go up pretty drastically here. I'm not exactly going to make that call because, yeah, I don't know. Sun and Moon is older now, and it's kind of had its footing. Eventually it will pop off even more, probably like way further down the line when Sun and Moon is considered vintage, right? But yeah, I don't know. It's really cool to see. What a great list. Let me know what you think of the list down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.